2020's in focus. It's a whole new year, and my critics have assembled, baby. Yeah. For Adam Sandler and his uncut gem of a performance. For a Grudge reboot. But first, let's get some mischief done with the Little Women.
My girls have a way of getting into mischief.
Well, so do I. This is Meg, Amy, Beth, and Joe.
And these new Little Women are a scream with the retelling of a classic with modern sensibilities and lots of stars. Wait, it could be a disaster.
It
wouldn't be a disaster.
We'd be miserable.
That would be a perfect saint.
I can't. This is Detective Muldoon.
John Cho finds a house that is cursed as producer Sam Raimi reimagines a horror tale in The Grudge.
Howard, where's the money right now?
Howard, got my money? Howard!
Boom! Adam Sandler is all up in your face with a role that some say is Oscar-worthy. But I have a question.
You having a good time?
Yes, I am. Critically speaking. Yes, I am. Welcome aboard Critically Speaking, a show that is all about movies. I am your host, Lee Thomas, and joining me, the usual suspects are back in full effect. Adam Graham reviews movies for the Detroit News. Tom Santilli, a Rotten Tomatoes certified critic. Someone stepped their game up for the new year with the tie and everything. Santilli, what's up, brother?
Man, let's do this. Do
There
it.
he is.
First
there
insult
he is.
of the year.
Looking good, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
And you're here too, Adam.
Hey, what's going on?
Love
You
you,
still
man.
got the good shoe game going. You
Yeah,
just
he
can't see
does.
it.
Very
what's up.
strong
That's what's
shoe
up.
game. Very strong. Let's talk about what we always do in the beginning. That's the business of filmmaking, or upcoming movies that have caught our attention. We simply call it our movie buzz. Now this week, we are looking ahead at the biggest films of 2020. What makes you excited? Well, topping a new Fandango survey as the most anticipated film of the new year, Wonder Woman 1984 is this retro feature. Gal Gadot plays Wonder Woman. She squares off against the Cheetah, played by Kristen Wiig. Yes, that Kristen Wiig. That film hits theaters on June the 4th. But there's a lot to look forward to. Black Widow finally gets that standalone. And Respect, the Aretha biopic. And of course, No Time to Die, the Bond movie, all coming up this year. But if I had to pick one movie, I agree with my man Adam Graham. He's got an exciting pick, so I'll let him do the honors. Adam?
Yo, okay, so the movie I'm looking most forward to seeing this year is Top Gun Maverick.
Yes, my brother.
When
yes,
it comes to
yes.
me, I just try not to really acknowledge any movie or time period that existed before Top Gun in 1986. So I'm just super stoked to see Maverick back at it. There's been a lot of talk in the press that they're flying real planes in this thing, because that's how Tom Cruise rolls. They'll probably be back at the beach. They'll be doing all the stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm just really looking forward to seeing Top Gun Maverick.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now. What if Goose? Oh,
Like as a ghost? Like the ghost of
hey man,
Goose?
anything's
Ghost of
possible. It's 2020, baby. Anything's
That's true,
possible.
very true.
I'm just saying. All right, let's move on to see what Tom is most excited about for this year. What is it, Tom?
I'm also excited for Top Gun, but the one for me that I'm really looking forward to is a movie that's called The Many Saints of Newark. People might have heard of it as The Sopranos prequel. This is coming out in November.
Oh.
The Sopranos, of course, is one of the absolute greatest TV shows of all time. And I got excited about this when it was announced like a year ago that they cast James Gandolfini's son in
yep.
the role as young Tony Soprano.
That's nice,
It's written by David Chase, of course, but it's
yeah.
directed by Alan Taylor, who was a director of a lot of the Sopranos episodes. So I cannot wait to see what they do with this franchise and if this movie lives up to the hype.
And it was so early in the process, we only got a still picture and some shots of possible locations, but I am excited about that. But
Gabagool!
hey, whoa, hey, Tony, hey.
Forget about it.
There you go.
Nice, gentlemen. It's going to be a good year in film. There's a lot to look forward to. But let's talk about this weekend and what's coming out, as an all-star cast of women are far from little.
Why? He saw you giving your Christmas breakfast away and he wanted you to enjoy the day.
But I thought he was a mean old man.
Yeah, it's Emma Watson and Saoirse Ronan in this retelling, but really what makes this great is the story itself. I'll explain, plus this.
I made a crazy risk to gamble.
Yeah, Adam Sandler is a crazy jewelry salesman that has a serious gambling problem in Uncut Gems. Good film. It will get nominations. Oscar? No. Critically Speaking, next. We'll talk it all out.
Put Pesach out.
All right, Larry, you're a Jew again. Welcome back.
I made a crazy risk, a gamble. And it's about to pay off.
Now, this movie is about a man in the Diamond District in New York City who is out of control, buying this high-end jewelry and selling it to big clients, including Boston Celtics Kevin Garnett.
These guys, you can't get your hands on these things, you understand?
Really?
So look, I say to myself, how do I get a hold of these guys? And I managed to track these guys down. I buy one from them. Holy what is that? That's right here.
Yeah, there's a lot of bleeping that we had to do for this one clip alone, and it's a role that some people say will win Adam Sandler an Oscar. They're actually being nice. I disagree. We'll get to that in a second, but first, Kevin Garnett plays himself in this movie, and that dude is great. Can he act? I don't know, but he plays himself really well. But this role, back to Adam Sandler, award consideration, yes, but I don't see a trophy. A nomination, yes, no trophy. Let me say I like this film right off the bat. It's about an addicted gambler that can't stop even when his life spins out of control. Directors, their brothers, Benny and Josh Safdie, are great at this very gritty look to a film, the look and feel. They made Robert Pattinson's Good Time, which has the same feel as this movie. But this film is a great piece of cinematic work. But much like Good Times, Uncut Gems is a little too stylish and brutal for this main character to have the kind of arc that wins an Oscar. But let me say this again, I like this film. Idina Menzel plays the wife, great. Newcomer Julia Fox is a Fox. She's awesome and great in the ladies in his life in this movie. Lakeith Stanfield, who plays kind of a seedy guy, along with Eric Bogosian. They play these seedy characters that hover around this jeweler, and their performances are spot on as well. But this movie gets a definite thumbs up for me. It's great, it's good, it's engaging. But Adam Sandler will get many nominations and 0 wins. Mark my words, this arc of the character just isn't good enough. Those are just my thoughts. Let's go to the other critics on this one. It's a good, solid film, don't get me wrong. But everybody's saying Oscar, 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 and I think they're doing him a disservice by doing that. It's just say it's a good movie and he does a good performance and move on. Adam, where are you at on Uncut Gems?
Yeah, big thumbs up on Uncut Gems. And I agree with what you said about Adam Sandler. I don't think he's got an Oscar in his future. I'd be surprised if he gets a nomination out of this. It's just not me. It's a hotly contested year. It's to say, take nothing away from his performance.
Right.
But the same way that Good Time a couple years ago with Robert Pattinson was completely crazy. It used a lot of like wild camera angles, quick cuts, all these things. This movie achieves that same feeling of craziness just with like characters, dialogue, and nonstop things going on. This is the kind of movie that can cause anxiety in somebody, and you almost need a breather at some points in the movie because it's just relentless, and it's almost like you're inside this gambler's head. The insanity of what he deals with, that's what the Safdie brothers bring to the screen with this entire experience. So it's a really intense movie to get through. It's an experience like you're not gonna have anywhere else at the movies this year. Really interesting movie. And a lot of fun, but also it makes you loco.
It really does, all the way through to the end. Tom, where are you at on Uncut Gems?
Uncut Gems is one of my favorite movies of the year. It made my top 10 list. I'm a huge thumbs up on this. And what a resurgence really for Adam Sandler. I mean, if you count back to last year, his 100% Fresh special was maybe the funniest thing I saw on Netflix.
It was great.
They just released on Netflix that Murder Mystery was the #1 streamed movie of last year. And now this performance. I agree with you too, Lee, but only because of the competition this year. This role for Adam Sandler, I don't really think he's a great actor. This is like the perfect role for him. This is like the marriage of when a great role meets the right actor. But yeah, I agree with Adam too. Like this is like a high wire act. The whole movie is just this tension that is created by the Safdie brothers and the score by a guy, I always forget his name.
10 Tricks Point Never.
10 Tricks Point Never. Thank you. The score is it's like electric, literally. And it just drives this thing. And what a great cast of characters. We meet this guy, he's like in quicksand already. You know, and it's just like watching him struggle to kind of get out of the hole that he's dug himself in, and it's just a great ride. However, I do think that it's maybe a little bit too edgy for some people.
I agree.
Yeah, this
agree
movie
with that
has
as well.
the 7th most F-bombs in any movie ever.
In history, yeah, and it's a lot of them.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of them, but a well-done film. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Oh, when we talk on our podcast on Facebook, I'm going to tell you why Adam Sandler won't win the Oscar, but tune in to us on the Facebook page, Critically Movies. Now, another film out this weekend brings Louisa May Alcott's classic Little Women up to date with a star-studded cast that includes Saoirse Ronan working with Meryl Streep.
You mind yourself, dearie. Someday you'll need me, and you'll wish you had behaved better.
Thank you, Aunt March, for your employment and your many kindnesses, but I intend to make my own way in the world.
Oh, well, no one makes their own way. Not really.
Yeah, you do, Meryl Streep, because you're great at what you do. She's the co-star of this film, and it's a retelling of a classic. Like I said, Saoirse Ronan plays the main character of the March sisters in this great ensemble cast. Florence Pugh, Emma Watson fill in other roles as two of the sisters as they play the family struggling just after the war. Chris Cooper plays a loving neighbor. Great. Timothy Chalamet is his wayward son. Also great. Laura Dern, just showing why she has always been a respected actress. She's great at her craft. But what makes this story special to me is the way they tweak the narrative and kind of freshen it up for this time. The movie is great to me and well performed. Greta Gerwig, the director of Lady Bird, reteaming with Saoirse Ronan, they really know how to make engaging cinema. And I'm not just saying for women, I'm saying for everyone. Little Women is a big movie the whole family can enjoy. This film is award worthy. I nominated it for Critics' Choice Award. I hope it does get in the hunt. Little Women's well worth the time, and I absolutely give it a thumbs up. To the critics we go. Tom, you're up first on this one. Little Women, big in my heart. I really enjoyed this movie. What about you?
Wholeheartedly agree with you, Lee. This also made my top 10 list. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. Not only is this like a beloved classic book, it's mainly what Greta Gerwig does with the telling of it.
Yes.
They kind of mix up the storyline. Fans of the book might go into this and be a little jarred by like seeing things kind of happening out of sequence.
Right.
But I think as you kind of go through it, you see the confidence that Greta Gerwig kind of put this movie together. If you're ever looking for a great directing effort, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because it takes material and it makes it better. And these performances are just unbelievable too. Saoirse Ronan is award worthy. Florence Pugh, what an amazing year after Midsummer, and Fighting with My Family. But just everything about this movie, it's loving. It's rated PG.
Yep.
It's got, when Meryl Streep is a side character in a movie, you know it has a great cast.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. Adam, where are you at on Little Women?
I like this movie. I'm thumbs up, and I liked it a lot less than both of you guys did. I think that it works, but I think that the jumbled narrative seems to be over-trying, in a sense, to put her stamp on it, to say, like, here's a familiar story that you guys know.
Right.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw all the pieces up in the air and let them fall where they may. I found the kind of the smash cuts between times to be somewhat jarring at times. And I think that, I really like the story between Saoirse Ronan, Florence Pugh, and Timothy Chalamet.
Yes.
The rest was kind of window dressing to me.
I disagree with that part, but the rest you said, I'm up.
There you go. I liked it. I didn't love it.
Yeah, and Timothy Chalamet, though, with The King that's
Love
on
Chalamet.
Netflix
He's
right
the boss.
now, and what he did in Little Women, that guy is a great young actor. He is
respect one of the
already
best.
been said, one to watch.
best.
Yeah, he's great. All right, gentlemen, another film out this weekend brings Donnie Yen's Ip Man to San Francisco.
Is that it? Is this your Chinese Kung Fu?
That is the only English I could find in the trailer because this is a subtitled film, and this is the fourth and final film that brings the legendary Wing Chun master to the United States to ease tension with some of the other masters and also help his prize student, yes, Bruce Lee, played by Danny Chan. Now, Ip Man 4, the finale, is in theaters now, and if you love those martial arts films as much as I do, yeah, baby, you'll go check out Ip Man 4. When we come back, The Grudge reboot is on our movie watch. Next. Now it's time on Miss George Jefferson, this one out. Time for our movie watch. How many times did I look at my watch during your movie? This week, The Grudge.
Hello? I went to the house.
Hello? Police department.
Oh, this is a complete reboot from the 2004 Sarah Michelle Gellar version. The only thing the same is the producer, and it's Detroit's own Sam Raimi. He produced the 2004 version, and he produced this one. Now, in this new The Grudge, John Cho and Andrea Riseborough, they lead the way in this movie about a young mother who murders her own family in her own house. Then this single mother and a detective try to investigate and solve the case. Later, she discovers that the house is cursed by a vengeful ghost that is doomed to anyone who enters, dooms them to a violent death. The Grudge is rated R. It's in theaters right now. Adam, you are the solo critic that got to see this film. Did you look at your watch, and what say you?
It was the worst movie I've seen this year. That's I'll say
Wait,
that.
That's the first movie you saw this year.
It's actually the first movie I saw this year, but it's I will say that it's going to be high on that list when we come to the end of the year. I looked at my watch once during this movie, but it was after I was playing a game in my head to like kind of guess what time it was going to show. So I was completely disengaged from this movie. This is like a very lifeless movie. It's a very dull movie. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's very hard to follow, and it's not scary at all. So just there's really nothing going for it, and I couldn't really even make heads or tails of what was going on. I would say if the movie ticket is free, and if the popcorn is free, and if the frozen Coke is free as well, I still wouldn't recommend going to this movie.
Still wouldn't go to this movie?
Absolutely not.
Wow. Now, this game that you play in your head, I need to know this, because I may need that for my own.
I ended up, I was about 2 or 3 minutes off from what I thought it was. I was like, it's going to be 8:24, it's going to be 8:24. It was 8:25.
I love that. I've done that before. I try to gauge the time of a movie when you're at the movie.
That could be fun.
That's a sad commentary about the movie, though. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for the time, my friend. Another film out this weekend is in limited release, and it stars Andy Garcia.
Want to do me a favor? Go home.
Can't. My mom got arrested.
Yeah, Anna is the name of the film. It's about a used car salesman who loses everything only to befriend this very troubled young lady. And they go on this crazy adventure to make everything right monetarily and emotionally. Anna is playing exclusively at Imagine Canton. Lady Bird director Greta Gerwig, she is our queen of the box office, among others. We'll give you the breakdown, critically speaking, next. It's time to see what was the top of the box office last weekend, and no surprise for the second weekend in a row. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, $72 million, doing very well in #1. Jumanji, the next level, $35 million in the #2 position. And the #3 film, Frozen 2, with $17 million. That's very interesting. 2 Disney movies. Disney's doing so very well. Now let's talk about who should win this weekend at the box office. And according to BoxOfficeReport.com, The Rise of Skywalker is expected to win again, predicting the film will make around $33 million in its 3rd weekend in release, and Jumanji should come in second again. Now to our king of the box office. That's the person, place, or thing we think you should pay attention to. And for me this week, it's that man right there, Lakeith Stanfield. He is in one of the detectives in Knives Out. He also plays one of the jewelry hustlers in the new film Uncut Gems. Both of those films are great, and he does very well in both of the movies. So for that reason alone, Lakeith Stanfield, you, my friend, are my king of the box office. To the critics we go. Tom, who's your king of the box office and why?
My queen of the box office this week is Greta Gerwig, who is the director of Little Women. We talked about a little bit earlier on the show. I just thought that this was one of the best directing efforts this year. I really hope that she gets a nomination this year from the Academy. I really think she deserves it. I felt like it was just a confident. It really put the movie in a new context, and she is my queen of the box office. What a follow-up to after her debut as a director in Lady Bird.
Yeah, I completely agree. The way she freshens up the movie, the way it's shot, it's all her, and I agree with you. That's a good pick. Adam, who's your king or queen of the box office?
I think Greta Gerwig's doing a musical next, she said.
Oh, I like that.
So, yeah, Cats 2.
No, man, come on, man.
I love what the Safety brothers did with Uncut Gems. They cast a lot of odd people in roles, real people, people you weren't expecting. And Julia Fox is one of the roles. She plays Adam Sandler's girlfriend in the film.
Yeah.
Really interesting part. She plays it really well, and I think we're going to be seeing more of Julia Fox Fox in the years to come. So for that reason, Julia Fox is my queen of the box office and Uncut Gems.
Fantastic.
Go see it.
Fantastic, gentlemen. Are we kicking off the year right? I think we're getting good with it. There's a lot of great movies. I remember in summertime we were going, I don't know if there's going to be any good movies.
That's right.
But I think we're doing good with the awards and kicking off the year right.
No, for sure. And there's some good movies in theaters right now, and there's some good movies, some holdovers from last year that are coming in the next couple years. So it's in the next couple weeks. So it's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and one to talk about is 1917. I'll talk about that briefly in a second. But gentlemen, as always, thank you so very much for your time. I appreciate what you do each and every week. And thank you guys for tuning in. As long as they keep making movies, well, we're going to keep critically speaking about those movies. I'm George Jefferson, and out again next week. A World War I epic as we head to the battlefield for 1917. And I will see you at the theater.